Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been ages since I painted anything green here. So I thought it was about time that I got a furniture project going and shared it with you guys. So let's get started with this transformation behind me, and I'll show you a little bit as I'm trying to figure out my signature shade of green. Now, before we get started on today's piece, I thought I would take you back in time a little ways to show you how I repainted my kitchen hutch almost 3 years ago now. And as I look at this video, so much has changed. I obviously am not pregnant with that baby anymore. He is almost 2.5 years old now. And that wood piece of furniture to the right there, I sold that. But man, when I see it in this picture, I wish I would have kept that. It looks so good together. Now I have like this open shelf, which I don't love, but it's storing a lot of artwork. Also, all of our homeschool stuff is up here right now, and that has since been moved downstairs. We kind of remodeled our basement, and wow, we take up so much more space nowadays than we did right there. So I have definitely gone way more overboard with how many books I buy. But the point of me showing you this is when I painted this hutch, I had mixed together a lot of greens and kind of came up with my signature shade of green. But ever since then, I've really just been trying to recapture this color. And like I said, since I custom mixed it, it's not like I can just go buy it. Now there are a lot of similar greens out there or other greens that I like using just as much. But today I did take the time to kind of clean up a lot of my old paint and try to recreate this green. I think I get really close for today's piece. I'm just a little off. I feel like I maybe need to add back in some blue, but I'll let you see that in a moment. But I thought you guys would like seeing this hutch transformation from beginning to end. So here's today's piece in question. This is a vintage, potentially antique, dry sink. It's in really great shape, except for I had some of these slats that were sliding out, so it's being glued right now. But everything else on it is really solid and sturdy. It's a super heavy piece. I do not love it as is, though. I just don't love the finish of the wood. But I think with a little bit of paint, I'll be able to make this something pretty special. I like that it still has its original towel bars on the side. A lot of times these are broken off or the bars are missing. So like I said, it's in really great shape. I got it in the estate sale a few months ago in a barn. So it was really dirty when it got to me, but I've washed it up already. And then I had to wipe it down one more time today because it's been in my garage for a while. But I'm ready to tackle this piece because we have a tent sale coming up, kind of our grand opening for the new store location of my treasure house. So this is one of the pieces that I want to get ready for that tent. And before I do so, I'm going to go ahead and try to use up some of my old paint to make kind of my signature green color for this piece. I don't think I'm going to do green from top to bottom. I'm going to do a little bit more of just some accents here and there, heavily distress it, and just really go for a very primitive look. I like to go through my paint every now and then because it truly doesn't last, especially this chalk paint. So this is the Palmetto Green from Dixie Belle. I'm going to start with this one. You can see it's getting really thick. And that's just kind of how chalk paint goes, but this is definitely still usable. I have found some jars where it's too hard to resurrect at all, and that's a bummer because it's just a waste of money. So trying to save some money today by using up paint that I already have on hand. And I've gotten pretty good at color mixing to this point that I can almost always nail down the color that I'm actually going for. This one is super thick, so now I'm doing like this sandbar color, which is like a really dark, I don't know, what do I want to say? Taupe, that's what I'm looking for. So really, not dark taupe though, actually a light taupe color. I've used this one a ton in more of my crafts, not really much on furniture. It's actually my favorite color to paint like crockery pieces with, but this one is really old and I haven't done those crafts in a while, so I feel like this one needs to go. Unfortunately, I'm not selling Dixie Belle at the moment. I don't know that I won't do that again in the future, but Etsy was getting real dicey for me, just with getting my payments, and I feel like their algorithm switched on me, and it was just like all of a sudden I was paying more to sell Dixie Belle than I was actually making, even though at first it was doing really well for me. And I liked cutting out that middleman for you guys. If you wanted to paint something the same way I had, I could offer you the exact paint color And I liked being able to do that, but I just need to take a break on that for now and figure out maybe a different method of getting that to you. Dixie Belle has gotten really pricey in general though, and shipping just everywhere has been really expensive. It just feels like everything's expensive, and so kind of wrestling with that. I had a lot of color green left. I probably should have just used that because it's such a pretty color. Okay, so there's my first 3 colors, and then I have this brand new evergreen. I like to have this on hand for Christmas time, but it is a little brighter than I really like. It's not quite the right green for me. So if this mixture doesn't end up being green enough, I'm just gonna open up that new evergreen and pour that in here, and then I'll save some of it for all my Christmas crafts I have coming up. If you're looking for a pretty affordable, cheap paint option, I really do like the Waverly chalk paint at Walmart. And it's only a few dollars per bottle. It is what my mom and I used when we started our booth. They have a fern green that I like a lot. It's very similar to this green here. But they also have like a sage green that's really pretty. And I haven't bought from them in a while, so they might even have more colors than I know of. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow just to up the intensity a little bit. Okay, now that I have this first panel painted, I can tell this is going to be such a huge improvement for this piece. I'm super excited for how this is going to go. I did want to decide though, kind of from here, how much I wanted to paint. And so I think what I'm leaning towards is painting the entire body of this the green, and then leaving like this surface the wood, because that's going to be the most durable for this piece. And then I think I'm going to leave the dowel and this hanging piece wood also for now, and I can always paint that out later. And then I'm going to do this top piece in green. The thing is, like I said before, I really don't like the color or tone of the wood or the shine especially, but I really don't want to go through the process of sanding the whole thing. So I'm wondering if maybe I could take the shine down with some steel wool later on or something, because especially the drawers, I just don't like the finish on them. But I think I'll come to that once I have everything else painted. Maybe I won't hate the wood so much once there's just less of it. So we'll go ahead and just do all of the green and then decide at the end. I'm here at my next stopping point. So I have the body of the piece finished and the top piece also. And now that I'm here, I still feel like there's too much of the wood going on. So I decided that I would like to go ahead and paint the arms here. And then I think I'm going to paint this surface and then this just lip of the edge that comes around here. moving on to cleaning up the wood on top. I've never actually done this with the steel wool before, but all I did was give it a light spritz with water. And of course, also I would recommend using a glove just because it's really abrasive. But just the combination of the water and the steel wool was really able to take up all of the grime on top of that wood and also that kind of top layer of very shiny top coat. And even though I took off that top coat, the wood still felt super durable afterwards. So I didn't even worry about re-top coating it with anything else. I could tell it was just going to be really durable as is. But I was super impressed with this part of the process because, like I said, I've never done this before, but it really did a good job of just getting all of the gunk and grime off from years of use doing who knows what. Because a dry sink, that can be something that's even used outdoors. So who knows how long it's been since it's actually been super cleaned like this. So I definitely got years of old dirt off there. And then in the end, ended up with a really nice matte finish. So I was super, super happy with how this process went. My last step today is just going to be wet distressing all of the edges of the piece using a wet sponge. This is a Scotch-Brite, so it has like a scratchy side. And I've never really used this method before, but I have wet distressed before, and I like it because it's not so messy, but I normally use a baby wipe. But for this one, because I want a heavier distress, I thought I would try just using the sponge that I already had out earlier from cleaning the piece. And it's actually giving me the perfect effect because I do want it to look very distressed and aged. So I want a lot more of that wood to come back through. Now I will say that it's going to be really hard to wet distress if you're not using chalk paint because latex paint is not going to reactivate with water like chalk paint does. So this really, I feel like, is only an option if you've used a water-based chalk paint. But I think that this is, first of all, super easy. Like I don't have to put a lot of muscle into this at all. And it's just kind of, it feels a lot more fun actually to do it this way. I'm so happy with how primitive this piece turned out. I'm loving the green. I think as far as my signature shade, I still need to go a little bit deeper with the color. Maybe a little bit of like a navy blue or even just a dash of black. It's just like a smidge brighter than I want it to be, but I think it works perfectly for this piece. I'll probably be able to sell this close to $200. I think I'm gonna shoot for like $220 for the tent sale in a couple weeks. And hopefully it'll be a quick sale for me. Things have been flying out of our booth recently, especially furniture. So I'm excited to see how quickly this one goes. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.